And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's May 21st, 2025. I believe it is Wednesday. And you know how I know it's Wednesday? It's because the Knicks are playing Game 1 against Indiana tonight at the Garden. And I will be up in the Northeast Friday for that game. I heard the cheapest ticket was like $900, but I heard it was coming down a little bit today. I'll have to look that over. Anyway, there are days that matter more than other days when it comes to this very important radio show. How do we put this? I think we do a splendid job of guiding you through the muck and mire, and I must tell you the last couple of months have been some of the wildest action I have seen in the markets in a very long time, where you had a crash, you had an administration running amok on what they are going to do and how they're going to do it, and when they're going to do it, and how much they're going to do, and who they're going to do it on. And once they crashed the market, they had to change their stance. And of course, they marketed it that they are in control, and we know they have no control whatsoever. Fortunately, they backed away from the tariffs, and I don't know, there's some tariffs still up there, but they did all kinds of exemptions also, and that's good, and let's hope more of that to come. But then it came to a new budget/spending bill. And who has been the loudest voice on debt deficits, our government, the size, scope, reach? Who has? I watched today, and we're not going to mention names, a true fiscal Republican conservative say debt doesn't matter, doesn't bother him one bit. And of course, you know what side of the aisle that person would be on. We talk all the time here about the tank. The tank being, if you are a lefty, no matter what the left does, there's nothing wrong with it. It's always right. If you are a righty, no matter what the righty does, you're good. And that's unfortunate. Because for 4 years, you had the worst president of all time on the border, on debt, on deficits, and amongst other things. You know about the inflation that was supposedly transitory, and I can go on. And then we get this administration. Now, we're a big believer in the past. You see, I won the Preakness this past Saturday. I had journalism to win. And boy, he came back from behind and won. Didn't think he was going to because he was in between horses. But I bet that horse based on the Kentucky Derby that he was really strong, but the mud, and it gets in your eyes when you're behind horses, and I just thought he was the best horse even though he came in second. Past performance. When I was in high school, I always got into the dog track, even though I was not of age. Well, actually, I was not of age, but went to Hollywood dog track, Biscayne dog track, and Flagler. And I was very good handicapper of the greyhounds because I was very good at reading the past. Inside box, outside box. What type of track, how far the race, who they were racing again, did he move up a grade or down a grade? I was very good, and I'm pretty decent with the horses also. Past performance. So we knew President Trump, from his past performance of his first 4 years, did not care about the debt and deficits. He talked a big game like everybody else, talked a big game, and did not come through, immediately spent like crazy, and we know why. And he's not unlike the other politicians. If you lower government spending, that affects GDP, and GDP matters to elections, I guess, the marketing of elections. So we were holding out hope because the president this time was, let's just say for 4 years, the Republicans and President Trump were complaining about Joe Biden and his asinine, ass 10, ass 11 spending, debt, and deficits. So one would hope that, hey, they're going to get it. So President Trump gets elected, and what does he do? The same. They put together a bill, a budget that guarantees our $37 trillion of debt is going to 45, going to 50, going to 55, going to 60. They did nothing with it as far as the spending side. And they have the minions going out with their BS. What's the BS? We'll grow our way through. They said that during Trump years, 4 years, which, by the way, the economy was good. It was good. No complaints there. But debt and deficit skyrocketed. And we're not talking about the COVID numbers either. That's before the COVID numbers. So they put together this bill, and the minions are out just bullcrapping you. Oh, we will grow through it, and this and that, and we had it. They're just full of crap. All of them. And by the way, I'd say it to their faces. Because I am a voter, I am American. And what we have, though, is a stock market and a bond market. And we keep hearing the stock market is not the economy, but they're wrong. The stock market is a lot of the economy. And then there's the bond market. We have said to you maybe 5,000 times throughout the years that we worry, is there ever going to be a day where the bond market wakes up and shoots a certain finger at what they are doing in Washington, D.C.? We've said that to you, I can't even, numerous times. And fortunately, there has not been a big cause and effect. Even though we went from, let's see, in 2008 when Bernanke started the moronic money printing, I think we were about 5 or 6 trillion of debt then in 2008. So it just took about, 17 years to take us to 37 trillion and counting. So they put together this bill, and it's a horror show on spending. We love the extension of the tax cuts. We're not that great of a fan of taxes on tips, except we found out there's a cap, so that's okay. But I'm wondering if a lot of businesses are going to give you $1 salary and then everything's going to be tips, and they're making out on you. They also raised the SALT thing, which basically means you and I are paying for the ass clowns in the blue states on their local and state, gargantuan local and state taxes. They get bigger write-offs going forward. But it's the spending side that they did nothing about. And the shame of it is there's gargantuan opportunity on the spending side. Why? Well, we did 4.4 trillion of spending in 2019. We're going to do 7.2 now. Last I looked, that's like 65-70% in 6 years. They talk about the economy growing 3%. Well, why is government growing 8 or 9 or whatever that number is, rule of 72? And then there's the bond market. You see, as we have stated, Economics 101 says the more debt you have, when you go to the bond market to put out bonds, the people that buy your bonds are going to demand a higher yield to cover for all that debt. That should be Economics 101, but since we are the United States, and we are the dollar is so big and important, and our bonds and this and that are so important, nothing could ever go wrong, right? Well, today they did an auction for bonds, and let me be clear, could change tomorrow. But today, there was little appetite for our bonds. Up next, the results, and then the markets. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. So, they tell us there's no inflation now. Inflation's down, so now don't worry about interest rates. But in the last 3 weeks, the 10-year yield has gone from 4.124. It closed today at 4.596. And looks like it wants to go at least to the high of January, which was 4.809. The 30-year broke to, let me see, almost to the highs of October of 23 and above 5%. And the reason this happened is they did a 20-year bond auction, and there wasn't a lot of fervor for it. So yields spiked higher. And I always worry, are we at that point where the market finally just wakes up and says, 37 trillion of debt? Oh, how much is going towards interest this year? Oh, and now the Republicans came in and did absolutely nothing about the spending when they complained about it for 4 years? Screw you. We're selling bonds. We already know other countries who have feasted on our bonds for ages have been net sellers. And I think a lot of that has to do with the tariffs and being pissed off. So today, yields were ticking up a little bit, but no big deal. And today, early in the day, the Dow was down like 300, and we told our peeps we thought that a few of the areas of the market had topped out near term. What that means, you know how we talk about stair steps in the market for price? You go up 2, pull back 1, go up 3, pull back 1, and the stair steps are going higher. Well, recently off of this China news, the latest thing, we went up and we've been sitting around for the last 5, 6, 7 days as we drifted higher in some things, sat around with others. Well, we noticed earlier today at least some of the areas like the weak transports versus everything else, amongst other things, looked like they had near-term tops in place. So early in the day, the advanced declines were terrible, but the NASDAQ 100 were on the strong side, and the market was buying up anything and everything artificial intelligence like. But then the bond auction came, and we finished down 816 Dow points. The S&P 95, the NASDAQ 270, the NASDAQ 100 287. Let me give you the NASDAQ high today to give you an idea. The NASDAQ hit 19,241. 19,241, so that's about 307. We were up 100 on the NASDAQ. We finished down 270. The Philadelphia Semiconductor Index down 88. That was up early. The transports down 403. I told you about advanced declines early stunk. Well, they really got worse by the end of the day. 625 up on the New York, 3575 down. 768 up on the NASDAQ, 3497 down. My screens are very much red except for gold and gold stocks. Interesting that Japan stocks were up today, Japanese, even though their bond market yields keep going higher. And as I said early in the day, it was getting strong. NVIDIA looked like it was going to break above a little handle there, and some of the other AI names. But they came in also because the market was weak. And tomorrow's another day, and we understand that. But it feels like we hit a moment here today. And we'll give it a chance to redeem itself in the next day or two, specifically the bond market. But as I already started doing my scans, let me just use the word ew. I don't even know how to spell the word ew, but it was ew. I'm not thrilled with what I am seeing. Again, that could fix itself in a couple of days. A good bond market day would help out tomorrow. But it did not finish well today, the bond market. And keep in mind what a couple of things this means. Number one, what did we say to you? The president is jawboning Powell to lower rates, but we told you if Powell lowered rates, it may raise rates. Right. Powell does the Fed funds rates. We talk real rates, the free market of the 10-year, 5-year, 30-year yields. And they're now going higher. And you know what this does to Powell? It boxes in. He cannot raise rates now. The market is now dictating he cannot raise rates. And I'm dead serious when I say that. And the president had better be careful about that, because he can think rates are being lowered, but real rates are going higher. They don't understand this. We do. They don't understand this. We do. So all across the board, I have a complete disappointment in this budget/spending bill. It did nothing to change the trajectory. The 4 years of whining and complaining by the Republicans was nothing but a con again. It's the same old, same old. We're going to spend our way into oblivion. To all the people of the United States, up yours. But they are going to extend the tax cuts. But Gary, doesn't that cost, and doesn't that add to the debt and deficits? No, it's our money. And us keeping more of our money is actually a good thing. The problem is they did nothing about the other side again. And why? They're so worried about the next election. They know if they cut government spending, that could be a problem for GDP, but they're causing a bigger problem, and that is the market. And let me give you that if again. If the market wakes up to the debt and deficits, I just wonder, are we going to go 6%, 7%? That is not a prediction. It's just we're wondering. They've been taunting us for ages now. They've been taunting the markets. They've been taunting the taxpayer. And when I see them out today, the administration, the growth will do everything. What? Why couldn't you do your job? How are you telling us you're not cutting anything? We are. They're telling us they're cutting $1.5 trillion over 10 years. That's a fly on an elephant's arse. And of course, whenever they tell you something, just divide or multiply or whatever. Up next, what else are we seeing? Thanks for being here. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. For the record, want to make sure you know, we don't take any joy. We don't take any joy in any of this. As you know, we are an equal opportunity complementer. Is that a word? And we are an equal opportunity critic. I really had hopes. Do anything. Do something. Cut something. They did some Doge. Not sure the outcome there. It's gone silent. Terrific. We complimented them. But the big matzo ball is this budget. And they are conning you again. And if I got to meet with the president and the Speaker of the House, I'd introduce myself and say, why didn't you cut the Inflation Reduction Act from Biden? The $1.8 trillion of nonsense. Why didn't you cut a third? Why didn't you cut the $350 billion given to Podesta? Why didn't you do anything? At least you would have showed. You cannot show anybody anything about cutting spending. They had somebody out today again talking about how great it is. He couldn't answer the question on cuts. So the blob continues. The $2 trillion a year deficits continue. And we've been conned by another administration. That's all. Same old, same old. And let's just hope today was a one day nasty and tomorrow's a better day. We'll see. But I'm giving you the if. If interest rates continue to go higher, I think there's a penalty to be paid. Because that's the cost of capital going higher. And we're already, I believe, in the sevens on mortgage rates right now. And I do believe the credit card business, boy, there's a lot out there on the credit cards. Let me finish off by saying it again. We take absolutely no joy. No joy at all. We want success stories, but they have let us down again. And what they have done, I watched a journalist on the right make fun of one of the people that agrees with me. A person in Congress that didn't want to vote yes and ended up voting present in order to get things passed. All of a sudden, the person that wants balanced budgets, or at least better than what they did, is the extremist. That's sickening. That's sickening. So it's game on. I don't know what else to tell you. In other news, well, let's just do a couple of things before I go into other. As I am scanning, it looks like financials putting a near-term top. And I mean pretty much the banks, the regional banks. It looks like the transport's putting a near-term top. And what a near-term top means is that the highs of the last couple of weeks after that China deal are not going to get through to the upside anytime soon. That's what it means. The definition of soon, I've never come up with that. A while. And as always, if things change, we'll let you know. And hopefully tomorrow, yields come down. Anything's possible. And as I go through, thumbing through, looks like the industrials hit a little moment today. I would say the metals and mining and materials hit a moment today. The housing stocks never really got going, and they're just plain old rolling over already. Oils have stunk up the joint for a long while. They've just been bearish, so nothing to do there. Retail, which was trying, near-term top also, I would suggest. And again, near-term. We're not talking farther out. Near-term. Economically sensitive, you know those names, right? United Rentals. Look like near-term tops. Caterpillar. Little near-term tops. And again, if anything changes, we'll let you know. But interest rates going higher on the long end is not a good thing. I can all but promise you that. And obviously the market today reacted to that. Next up, the Knicks, Indiana tonight. Quite important to myself, may I say, for the record. And now, other news. And it is of import. Other stuff. United Health. Remember, it was up for the last couple of days. Insiders bought, was down 18 today. Just accusations being flown around. We never know what's true or what's not. We've been asked a lot about that stock as of recent, and we've just said we don't know. All we did was tell you about the insiders. But there's a story going on today in a newspaper that the Department of Justice investigated allegations and documents about inaccuracies and all kinds of crap. We'll see. United Health did issue something that said there's no truth to all kinds of crap. One of the things was United Health allegedly paying nursing homes to reduce transfers between hospitals, whatever the heck that means. But it hit the stock for almost $19 today. I can tell you this as far as I'm concerned. Whenever there's uncertainty, we tend to stay away. We tend to miss it. We'll miss the down, we'll miss the up. Just a lot of uncertainty. And of course, it's hit the whole group. Symbol ELV, HUM, Humana, Cigna, and the like. They go bye-bye. We're pretty much through a lot of earnings. There's a few things left this week. Decker's, Workday, the dollar stores, BJ's Wholesalers, Analog Devices. I think Best Buy is this week also. But we're pretty much through everything. Best Buy, I do believe, reports in the next day, if not this afternoon. Apple. Got to bring that up because we're asked about a lot. It remains in a bearish phase. It has not kept up with the market in any way, shape, or form. Just letting you know. Actually acts pitiful right now. Yeah. Actually is dropping. Couldn't even get through the 50-day moving average by much in recent weeks. Just letting you know. We're getting asked a lot about Bitcoin. Bitcoin went into all-time highs today. I think it backed off towards the end of the day. Actually, it may be right there. And actually finished pretty decently today for whatever the market did today. That's the Bitcoin. We're asked every day about Tesla. The move above 195 was a good move, hanging in there. But I will tell you, the story going forward is not going to be the cars. It's going to be the robo-taxis and other things. At least that's what all the analysts is dependent upon. And on the market, lastly, I have to bring up a stock with symbol Wolf. It was down 60% today to $1.28. Bankruptcy. Bunch of analysts downgraded from buy to a hold today after dropping 99%. Do remember that. Up next, news of the day. Whatever else today, I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, I want to address one of Target was down another $5 today. The stock Target has gone from a high in 2021 of 267 to 93 today, while Walmart, the same date from 21, has gone from 50 to 96. If you would go into a Walmart and you go into a Target, they pretty much sell the same stuff, don't they? Just something to always remember. And I think Target, what happened first? They did some weird crap. In fact, I went into a Target, and boy, they put out some weird crap products. They call them woke, and I'm not going to mention what they were, but they were the sexual nature at a Target. And that really, I think, did a number on them for a while, but then some, I guess, inventory control. Something to that effect. But you just have to, these are things always, remember the Kmart, Walmart, Target thing we did years ago? I would come on this show and say, hey, I live in Lake Mary, Florida, and there's a Kmart, and I went in it, and it was a crap hole. It was dirty. There was nobody helping. There were empty shelves. And then I went to the Target, which was half a mile away, bright, busy, people helping, and Walmart, of course, and that Kmart store within a year was out of business. Just always keep those things in mind when you're going to stores or going to restaurants and things like that. It's like the Starbucks. I've been wondering why the stock was going up when the new CEO came in, because he had this idea, we're going to keep charging the higher prices because we're Starbucks. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy smoking the evil weed? But the stock kept going up, even though earnings down 7, down 25, down 23. Well, the last one was a down 40, and the stock's now gone from 117 to 83. Sometimes you just got to think things through, and we hope it works out for him and Starbucks. But if this guy doesn't know that people are price conscious right now, I can't help him. Frankly, he's a goof if he doesn't know that by now. And frankly, he's probably not visiting stores and speaking to his clientele, the people. Just letting you know. These are things on how we think, how we do things. When I'm in Publix, I'm always the bag of Hershey's little chocolates used to be $10.99. They're $15.99 now. And I ask how they selling now. Guess what? Less than before. Just the little things we pay attention to. And that's why we're paying very much attention to these tariffs. Supposedly we're in a 90-day window, and who knows what's next. I may have to visit Mar-a-Lago on a weekend and talk to these people. Because if they go back into them tariffs, and let's finish up with the media. We don't want you to forget. So there's this guy, Jake Tapper for CNN, who, by the way, I like when he does his reporting when he's not BSing everybody. In case you don't know, a few years ago, on Twitter, I had said something to Jake Tapper that you just introduced a Democrat as an independent. Why don't you say independent, but he votes 100% of the time as a Democrat? And he blasted me. And it went viral that a Fox News business contributor was blasted by Jake Tapper, and I got death threats. Just for that. That's how sick people are. Anyway, he has a book now. And now he's doing a mea culpa. Yeah, we didn't do our job. About Joe Biden, everything we saw every day. We saw it. We're not doofuses. And now he's doing a mea culpa. Yeah, I know. And he's making all kinds of money writing a book about being wrong or lying. And let's be nice and just say he was wrong. No, he was lying. We don't want you to forget the media of the last 4 years before Trump. With Biden. They blacked out Hunter Biden before the election with Trump. That's number one. They didn't even report on all the corruption of the Biden family, and boy, oh boy, there's a crap load in plain sight. And that's why Joe Biden did the pardons for his whole family. They never talked about the 10 million people going through the border until 6 months before the election, when the poll numbers on immigration were worse than root canal and jock itch for Joe Biden. And then Joe Biden blamed the Republicans. And what did the media do? Blame the Republicans along with Joe Biden. We don't want you to forget this, because they're not doing the job for you. They are not doing the job for you. They are reporting in the tank, and I'm not talking opinion people. We are talking the anchors. Opinion people, I know who they are. I know who they are on the right, and I know who they are on the left. And they're fine. They're opinion people. But reporters and anchors report the news. Don't BS. So I don't want you to forget it. They conned you for 4 years, even though it was in plain sight and you can see it with your own eyes. I hope Joe Biden lives a great rest of his life, and I hope his cancer goes away. We just do not want you to forget, because going forward, they're going to do it again to you. Do not forget that. They're doing it to Fetterman now, a Democrat, because he dares sides with the Republicans sometimes. All of a sudden, he's a mental case. Remember all this. It's going to be very important going forward. That all said, crappy market today, hopefully better tomorrow. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Serenity now. We'll be doing the show a little bit early tomorrow because I'm on a flight and all that crap. Peace out all. Good night.